Hello, good evening. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Welcome, welcome. I was I was thinking of sharing something motivational with any person, anybody who is a business person, who's an entrepreneur, who is dealing with some issue, who's looking at quitting, who's looking at giving up, who's looking at losing their dream or living their dream because they have pushed so much, or you have pushed so much, and the results is so little to show, and you're at a point where you think, does it worth it at all? Do I have to keep the hustle? Do I have to keep pushing? Do I have to keep uh, you know exhausting myself, sacrificing? Sometimes you are in talks with some of the young men and women who are who are trying to do something with themselves, with their business, and they tell you that, listen, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. And sometimes they think that it's tough only with them. They don't think that it is tough not only with them, but it is tough with this process. If you want to live your dream, if you want to build a business, if you want to build a career, if you want to build your family, at a point it will be tough. It will be tough. I think that the whole world have, largely we have been programmed with the best of advice, which, this kind of advice that they have given us all this while, they have made us uh, to live as if somebody has been gifted to engineer everything for us to work in. What I mean is that a lot of the advice that they have given us in terms of what it takes to get money, what it takes to build a family, what it takes to build a dream, they have all been given 98%, I think, from an employee's perspective of life. A lot of the advice that they have given us, a lot of information, a lot of data that the world has known, they have been given by people who did not build businesses, people who did not create employment. So if you happen to be somebody who has only been built up with this kind of information, with this kind of advice, your muscle is weak. So when you meet challenges, you fall on those. Words are the things that human beings build with. The words that you hear, the words that you talk to yourself, we build with them. The advice that they have given us. There is an advice for somebody who works for monthly salary. I'm sorry. And there is an advice for somebody who is building a business. What I've found out is that almost every section of life or of livelihood, there is an advice for categories of people. Not every advice applies to you if you're trying to build a business. Not every advice. Okay, for instance, most often you see them organize business seminars, entrepreneurship seminars, and the kind of people who come there to give talks. That the guy is working with some organization, they pay him monthly salary, and then he comes to say that he wants to give entrepreneurship talk. And people have a broad definition of that, and we will not fight them for it. But for me, a typical, if you say entrepreneurship, is somebody who's trying to build a business with nothing, with his idea, with his vim, with his vigor, and with a lot of exuberance, a lot of hope, and he's ready to go through everything to make sure that he gets to his dream. Now, why people easily say that I am tired and it's tough and I'm quitting is because almost every one of us, we've been given this kind of information by people who didn't build. who didn't endure this kind of processes, who have not gone through a lot. So all these things have shaped our mindset as to what we have got to endure to build a business as entrepreneurs. If you if you're an entrepreneur and you are taking advice from somebody in terms of, especially the first 2 years, the first 1 year, the first 3 years of your business, if your advice is coming from somebody who is worked, no matter their stature in an organization, whether it's a cleaner, whether it's a middle manager, or even the top CEO, if they have not gone through this terrain of you picking an idea and building it, when you have nobody to support you, when you have nobody to give you money, when you have nobody to connect you somewhere, the only thing that you have is this idea, and you are ready to push, push, push. A lot of the advice, a lot of the books that you have written, a lot of the talk shows that you hear, a lot of the seminars, the conferences that we go, face it and I face it, a lot of them come from people who have not done it. And sometimes even those who have really done it, some of them were working somewhere. They accumulated a lot of money, they had a lot of experience, they had a lot of education, and then along the line they started to build some business somewhere when they were still working, and when the business had peaked, they quit and went to go into that business. Something like that is entirely different from you as a young man whose only option is to start a business, and you started it with just confidence. You started it by encouraging yourself. You started it by seeing a dream. Everybody around you did not believe in you. Everybody around you was saying that it doesn't worth it. You are wasting your time. Majority of the people fall into this kind of category. I am not so much interested in the guy with a lot of money to start a business, or with a lot of exposure, with a lot of techniques and a lot of network to start a business. I am particularly interested in that guy who has no hope, no option somewhere, nobody he knows, and he's building a business. And he has come to a point where he's exhausted. He feels like he has to give up. What I'm saying is that it's because you have fed yourself with the kind of information that has come from all these guys who have not built anything all their lives. Because in our society, in Africa, in Ghana, the people that we celebrate, we celebrate a lot of people. We celebrate a lot of disciplines. We celebrate a lot of achievement. We don't really celebrate entrepreneurs, people who have picked from nothing and built something. We don't really. So maybe not in our generation, maybe in the next generation, maybe after 10 years, 5 years, we will get a lot of people who are coming out, because that's where the typical need is. And the reason you think that you are meeting a lot of oppositions, a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, is because the society itself is not risen to that point. Now the thing is that most of the people who say that is tough, is difficult, they want to call it a quit, it's because they have option. Usually they have gone to school, so they have certificate, they have some skill somewhere, they can travel to another country. That's why they want to give up. If you meet somebody who has no qualification to be employed, who has no family, who has no body, and they say that they are doing something, they can't say that they want to give up. They may stop this business, but the next minute you see them in another one. Why? Because they don't have that option to say that I'm going to look for a job. They don't have it. Now, usually people have a lot of options. That's why they say that it's difficult. If you resolve to say that this is what I want to do, and you build your muscle, and you build your focus, then you will not say that it's difficult, because it takes a while for you to pick an idea and build it into a business. It takes a while. And you have to understand that 90%, 95% of the advice that you hear on radio, on TV, and even sometimes in the books may not apply to you. Usually we get a lot of books on business from most of these American authors, American business people. Listen, the fact of the matter is that if my country, if my community is structured, even if I've not that much skill, I can do something. The effort that I have to put in, because there are structures, there are systems to help me to succeed. What it takes for you to become an entrepreneur in another country where a lot of things are set up and structured and succeed is so much different from another country where nothing is structured, and you are not even equipped, which means that you're dealing with double case. The country is not structured for you, and then you yourself, you have not been developed, you have not been prepared, you have not been trained. It's one thing that even if you have not been trained and the country is there are a lot of things that they will just demand, and you will fall into it. You have grown up in that culture. That is not because you're intelligent, you were born into it, and there are things that are done that here you would have to school yourself, you have to lift up your game, you have to really build yourself for you to come to a stage where you start to understand what you're doing. So even if you are getting all these books from all these developed countries on business, yes, the principles may apply, but the practicalities may be a bit different. The realities may be a bit different. The other day, somebody was telling me that, listen, yes, the motivations are good, but when you get to the field, it's different. And I said that, yes, it's different because we still yet to build the entrepreneurship infrastructure. So you have an idea. You want to start a cocoa farm. You want to start let's say a cement business, whatever business that you want to start. In some countries, after you have done it and you have realized some level of income, there are things to help you to become successful that quickly. Here, you are starting with very little training, very little understanding, very little wisdom, and then the country also is struggling to to structure to meet a lot of us who think that we want to do business. So if you say that it is tough and you want to give up, I would say that even if you want to give up, don't give up at a point where it is the lowest. Don't give up at your lowest point. Don't. All of us have been there, and sometimes you continue to be there. So the idea that you started, you didn't know that you would have to go through all these things to get. Somebody told us that if I knew that I was going to go through a lot of these challenges, I wouldn't have started the business. Whoever knew? Nobody knew it. Nobody knew it. And usually the things that you are telling yourself, they are the things that are making you to give up. The things that you are feeding yourself with. The environment that you have created, the books that you are reading, the audios that you are listening. Or a lot of people, what I've seen is that a lot of people who are saying that they're doing business don't even pay attention to the words, to the training manuals, to the training materials. A lot of people don't do that. What I've seen is that a lot of people just go through the motion. They go through the motion. They just get up like anybody else, and they just go through the day and come back like everybody else. I think that is dangerous. If you want to build business and you have options means that maybe you have gone to college, you have a certificate, and you can say that, okay, I'm going to look for a job that quickly, and you may get it, and you may be happy with it, and you close that option and said, I want to build a business. I would say that put equal number of hours in your business. The number of hours that you put in the business and trying to do it, the same quality number of hours should be put in training yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest so much in knowledge. Invest so much in training. Invest so much in building a new mindset as an entrepreneur. You have to shift. You have to shift from being an unemployed guy to being employed and to being an entrepreneur. There is a whole different world. You have to move that mindset, or that's where you come to a point that you say that it's so difficult, I can do it, it's so difficult, I want to give up. Because giving up is an attitude of the mind, it's an attitude of emotions. You can't deal with the pain, that's why you want to give up. But a lot of the breaking points, a lot of the things that you think, the stage that you come to and you feel like I have to give up, a lot of people have gone through the same stage and they didn't quit. That's why they kept going. So entrepreneurship, after a while, your efforts will pay. They will pay. They will bring the results that you're looking for. Sometimes it depends on the level that you started. Some people are starting from negative 100 meters, so before they get to ground level and they start to be seen, it takes a while. Some people are starting from maybe level 0. So, they can make some kind of effort quickly. It depends on the level that you are starting. And it depends on the skill that you have, or the skill that you had when you started the business, the skill that you didn't have when you started the business, the kind of business that you started, the technical expertise that you understood, the managerial expertise, the financial understanding, the product that you are involved in, the market that you understand, your ability to lead the people, to encourage yourself, to endure the pain, the mistakes, the errors, and sometimes even your ability to hold together when you win. These all things will contribute to you succeeding at a faster rate. So don't just say that I want to give up. The efforts that you are putting, the fact is that if you are realistic, and if you be fair to yourself, after 1 year, after 2 years that you have endured this business, you are not the same. There are things that you understand differently now. There are things that you will not repeat. There are some mistakes that you will not commit again, which means that you have come far, closer to the dream than when you started. And so that's not the point to say that I want to leave it, I want to quit. No, you still have to push yourself and keep going, because the why you still feel like you want to quit is because you are not really convinced of the dream. You are not really convinced of what you are building. You are not you have to come to a point that you don't want to give yourself options. You want to say that this is what I want to do, and I want to do it. And sometimes what makes us give up sometimes is the finances. Every day you are looking for money and you're not getting it. It's difficult for you to keep going when the money is not coming. So sometimes you may want to look at your strategy. That, okay, I'm building this engineering firm. I'm meeting a lot of challenges. But is there another thing that I can start along the line that can help me to get something to eat, that can feed the revenue? Whilst I look at the big picture of building an engineering firm, or whilst I look at the big picture of building a commercial farm, or whilst I look at the big picture of building a computer industry, whatever that you are building, there should be another source of revenue that could at least reduce the pressure. Because what makes people give up is sometimes the pressure. And the way I see it, a lot of our boys, they cannot carry on with the hunger. I had a friend in school who always say that, let's say, you can work on an empty stomach. So if you're like that, then find plan B, where you have some little money to keep feeding the family, to keep feeding yourself, while you look at the big picture. Because sometimes you call it a quit, because you cannot even pay the rent, or you cannot even pay the school fees, or sometimes you can't even find what to eat. So what I have seen is that when the kind of business that you start, if it's not the business that is getting you revenue, daily revenue takes a while for you to succeed. Therefore, if your business is into those kind of businesses where you are paid bulk, but it's not daily, it's not like you're not in direct sales, where, or you're not in retail, where you sell something, you get money every day, you see money every day. Because business is a bit easier when you see money every day. The money that you see every day encourages you, even if it's not profit. You can balance somewhere to at least buy some yogurt, buy some water to drink. Now, if it's a business that you're going to develop a whole product for years or for months before somebody else starts to pay you, that is where most boys give up. That is where most boys give up. That's where most people give up. And so you may want to look at your approach. It's not because you're not good. It's not because that sometimes it's so much difficult. Yes, we accept that building business is difficult. We all know. But sometimes the approach, the mechanism, the strategy that you're using may also complicate and compound the difficulty that you may be going through. And so when you are not thinking through, when you are not thoughtful, you may just be looking at one solution. So you are only focused on this business, and you have done it for 3 years. All your finances are gone. Everybody is giving up on you. You can't see your way clearly. Sometimes you may want to start another thing. You may want to look at something that you can is it a provision shop that you can, is it water that you can sell somewhere? Is it MTN credit card that you can get some boy to do something that you see every day, whilst you still focus on the big dream? Because most of the businesses that will give you the millions and the billions, those bulk revenue businesses, they take a while for you to get money. And sometimes the impatience is high, sometimes the endurance level is low, sometimes the difficulty are so much heavy that you would want to call it a quit. But what I know is that every bit of the efforts that you're putting in building that business will pay off. Will pay off, and you have to be unequivocally, convinced that whatever efforts that you're placing in you building that dream, in you building that business, will pay off. And that is what I know. That if nothing at all, you will start to build the muscle, you will start to build the understanding, you will start to accumulate the knowledge, you will start to expand your wisdom, you start to become somebody, you start to get close to the dream. And every day that you're pushing, every day that you're going forward, every day that you're pressing, you are getting to the goal. So that's not the point to give up. Sometimes you would have to look at the kind of friendship that you keep, because the kind of people that you keep around you, sometimes they will encourage you, to give up on your dream faster than yourself. So look at the kind of friendship that you have created. If all of them are people who are, a lot of people don't know what it takes to build a business. And so if your network is full of people who have never tried business and who don't even see any need of it, and the world does not see any need of it anyway. A lot of people in prominent positions in our country have no clue what it takes to build a business. So when you go there and you say that you are building a business, it's like you don't have a job. That's all that they hear. Because to most people, you just have to have a job. That's what they know. You have to have a good job, good position, some from the government, some from some multinationals, or somewhere. So if you say that you are building business, it's not something that a lot of people will be ready to encourage you and to applaud you and things like that. Very few people have come that close to seeing what it really takes to build a business. So you're not looking for that from those kind of people, but build a good network of people who at least going where you're going, building what you're building, who have fair understanding of what it takes to build a business. Or you magnify the difficulties. Sometimes they may not so much be difficult. They may not be so many difficulties as it's being played in your mind. But sometimes it's just that you're hearing voices that have no idea, of what you're doing. And so the friendship, you have to look at it. Because the effort will pay. For that one, I can tell you. The more you start to grow, the more you start to expand, the more you start to build yourself, the more you start to invest in yourself, the more you start to rebuild all your mindset, all the data, all the information that you have on entrepreneurship, on business, on the product that you're doing, on finance, on people, on leadership, on the systems, on the structures that you need. The more you're working on these things, the more closer you are to getting to your dream. The other thing is that don't confuse yourself so much and hoping that one day things will change. I don't subscribe so much to that. It's not that I don't believe that they don't happen. They may happen, but I don't think that you should live your life hoping that one day a lotto will click, magic will happen, miracle will happen. Every failure is systemic or structural. Go and get that. Failure happens not because it's systemic, it's structural. So work on the systems that can build the success that you're looking at. Work on the structure. Build yourself. Look at the systems that you can put in place in your business, because success, consistent, perpetual progress in your business, in the entrepreneurship journey, in the product that you're trying, they will come out of the system, the structure that you're building. Part of it will be the kind of things that you're building yourself. And so don't hang the future, the results that you want to see, the rewards that you want to have, the business that you want to build. Don't leave it or hang them on lotto, on magic, on miracles, on prayer. Don't hang them on that, even though that is what we have been told. Okay, even though that is what we have been, you all grew up with that kind of thinking, that you leave the rest to God and God will decide. Listen, it is not God who is going to decide the success of a business. It is you. If you work on it and you work on it and you work on it, leave the rest that you cannot do to God. But there's a lot that are within your capacity that you can build. So if you leave the future of your business in the hands of the unknown, you become superstitious. And most people who leave a lot of things to things like that is because they don't believe that they have what it takes to create a future that they can create. And so work on that belief system. Because everybody else will be telling you that, oh, it is, those forces, those lack. And when you're not seeing the success, it means that something wrong somewhere, something is wrong somewhere, or your time has not come, or your lack is not come. Don't believe in those things, because those things can delay you. Those things can retard you. Those things can put you into detour, where you hope that the results that you're waiting for is beyond your capacity. I don't see myself as that. I link a lot of the things, at least the threshold, to the things that I have built, to the things that I've trained myself with the decisions that I'm making, the kind of network that I've built. I think that the threshold of it is of me. As to the level of growth, it could be exponential. But at least the basic setup should come from you. Don't leave the future of your business. Don't leave the future of the career that you're building as an entrepreneur. Don't leave it to chances. Don't leave it to hope. Don't leave it to magic. And don't even leave it to God. It's you. Because God actually may be waiting for you to build yours. He may be saying that, let's say, I've given you wisdom, I've given you knowledge, I've given you principles. You would have to tap into those to build that which you're building. The farmer has enough wisdom to go and plant the seed. The farmer has enough wisdom to put water on that seed. The farmer knows that he has to put some fertilizer there. He knows that he has to, make sure that the canopy that is coming from the trees is reduced, so that the seed or the seedling will have access to sunlight. These are things that we must do, and we must do them well. If you organize yourself, if you put a lot of things in place, the results will become controlled and predictable. So work on those, and don't just give up because you think that it's so much difficult. And if you want to give up, don't give up at your weakest point, at your weakest moment. No, push, because it will pay off, and they do pay off. They do pay off. At least you will get results that sometimes they will come at a time that you least expected. So just keep pushing, and never give up on yourself. Never give up on yourself, and never give up on your dream as an entrepreneur, and building it, and building that business. No matter what people say, no matter what people say that is difficult, no matter what people say that is not doable, you cannot do it. Build your office, be proud of what you're doing. If you have not employed anybody at all, you have employed yourself. If you're getting 100 revenue a month, 200 revenue a day, whatever that you're making is a progress that you're making. Build on that. Establish that, expand it. Think of creating a business name. Think of registering the business. Think on building a website. Think on buying a table and a laptop. Do your work well. And if anybody gives you business, if anybody gives you work, if a customer comes to you, up your game so much, up yourself in terms of the management. Continue to develop yourself. Steady. Give the best. Don't put your work on hold. Don't give people excuses why you could not deliver. The moment you become better at what you deliver, the results will pay off. Nobody can say that it will not bring results. It will. If you are diligent and you continue to put all the efforts in building the business and continue to push, there's no way that you're not going to get results. And don't leave it. Don't. What do I have to say? Don't leave it for people. Don't leave your future, the future of your business, to somebody somewhere who is saying that they are the one, interceding on your behalf. No, it is you. It is you. The fight is in your hands. Go and get it. Because when you start to succeed, people will come and claim ownership of your success. But your failure, nobody else will show up for it. Nobody else will show up. When you start to get results, everybody will come and tell you, I've been praying for you. All those things. We've been interceding for you. We knew it. Those things, don't believe them. Believe the effort that you are making. Put the structure in your own hands. Work on it. If it's not working, school yourself, develop yourself, ask people questions, go out, get data, because it will pay off as whatever that you're investing in yourself, whatever that you're investing in the business, it will pay off. Now you can reduce the time, you can increase the quantity, you can increase the speed. They all rest with you. But there are a lot of limiting belief systems that people can put on themselves, and that's why a lot of people give up on their dreams. A lot of people give up on their dreams. At the point where they were about to succeed, they gave up. Why? Because they could not believe that everything that they were pushing in the business was accumulating. Every effort is accumulating. They are doubling. They are creating force. And when they hit, they will create the results that you are waiting for. So entrepreneurship is like that. Don't give up on the dream, and don't quit at the weakest moment. No matter what people say, no matter what is coming up, don't quit at the weakest moment. Never. Keep pushing. Why would you want to commit 5 years, 10 years of your life trying to build a business? And then you say that I can't do it. Wow. So let's say if you're going to live 80 years, 10 years of your life is 1/8. And not many people live 80 years anyway. So 1/8 of your life you committed to doing something, and you think that if you commit that you will not get results. It's never true. If the thing is that you should not make sure that the thing that you're pushing is consistent. Consistently. You're working on this thing consistently, and you're correcting the errors, you're correcting the mistakes, and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing yourself. It will get you results. Don't believe that anybody else. Don't believe. And when you meet difficulties, don't think that there is somebody somewhere who is trying to do you. Those are the things that will make people give up, because you have got to be strong from within if you are going to build a business. The psyche, the culture, the environment of the entrepreneur is entirely different from everybody else. That I can tell you that. Okay, somebody who is trying to build a business from nothing is in a different realm. They may not tell you that. There are a lot of people who try to box everybody together. It's not necessarily true. If I happen to be the president of Ghana, I'm making a lot of decisions, but the money I'm not responsible. It's the taxpayers' money. I just have to be a good steward to make sure that I'm responsible. I'm careful with the commitment and the trust that the people of the country have reposed in me. If I lose that money, nobody else will. Generally, if I lose that money, nobody else will come after me. Yeah, I'm a president actually, but nobody else will come after me. It's taxpayers' money that they use. So when they go around to tell you, I will come and do this, I will come and do this, it's not their money, it's the country's money. Okay. Now, if you're a business person, if you lose the money, even if it's genuine, the guy who gave you the money will come for it. It is your money. The errors, they come directly at you. It's a different plane. And that's why you cannot think like the other guy who makes mistakes and nobody else will come for that money. So or you founded an NGO and you went for grants. That's entirely different from building a business, entrepreneurship, building a business and building it one step at a time. You went for grant. They gave you a grant. They said, go and do training for HIV people. It's a good cause. It's a social cause, but it's non-profit. But you, as an entrepreneur, you are seriously saying that, okay, I have an idea. There is the need for it. I create the labor, to get the product to the customers, and they have to pay me. And I have to make sure that what they pay is more than what I spend, so that I can get something small out of it. That is the essence. You want to monetize your idea, and you have to build a lot of infrastructure around it to make sure that it's profitable. It's entirely different from the other guy who is spending the country's money, or the pastor who is taking offering from people and building a church with it. It's entirely different. And a lot of people have, sometimes when they are organizing business seminars, they call pastors to come and teach them. Let's say it's a water party. They call ministers of state to come and teach them. I don't think that they can teach you what it takes to pick an idea and build it into a business. You have to talk to somebody who's doing it, even if they have failed. And that's why I think that a lot of the trainings that, since we are Africans, there are a lot of things that we don't pick rightly. There are a lot of trainings that they are giving to people in terms of entrepreneurship. If you're training people to become entrepreneurs, why is this minister something coming to do there? What is he coming to do? What is he coming to tell them? Government policies, just make sure that your government policies are working. They call the pastor to come and teach them how to start a business. It's an entirely different thing. And that's why you can go to all these seminars. You can go from one seminar to the other, one seminar to the other. You'll still not be able to build your business. You will still not be able to pick your idea and to build into becoming a business, because the things that you are going to meet, those guys don't meet those same challenges. The difficulties that you are going to meet, they don't meet the same challenges. They have a good course, but it's a different terrain. It's like you being taught in chemistry, and yet your exam that they are giving you is in, let's say, history. You will not pass the exam. And so when a lot of these guys with suit and tie come around and teaching you the entrepreneurship, and at the end of the month they are going to take their salary, or they are waiting for the offering, or the government to pay them per diem, listen, they can teach people in that field, but not you who are starting business with nothing. You have to go to the field, and it is done. You have to do it. It's not just them talking. The kind of things that the teachers they don't apply. I remember when we were in school, there was this guy from NBSSI. He was coming to teach us about entrepreneurship. So after he talked a lot, I asked him, so if you know all these things, what business have you built? So unfortunately, I work for the government. So he gave us data, which is good, but the data had no courage in it. We could not relate with practical experience from somebody. It would be better. The other day I went to another seminar, and there was Elijah Sumabanda was talking. You could see the confidence, you could see the courage, you could see the mistakes that he made, the successes the force that was coming from him. You could relate with it. Why? Because he had done it. So if you going to listen, which is so much important, because without you getting proper information every day from people who are doing it, that's where you get to a point and you say that I can't do it anymore. So it's not just about trying to read government data and political data and data from bank people. No. After a while that you have built, those people can come in and give information. But the first 1 year of the life of the business, you need practical wisdom to keep going at the business. And so when they come and they talk, the people who are doing it, their wisdom is different, the force is different, it's infectious. You can relate with it. So that's how. And when you get those kind of information, you don't give up, you don't quit. Even at the weakest moment, you can relate with somebody who went through the same thing and said, I will not give up, I will continue to build. And they can tell you all the things that they have endured, from the money to the product to the business, to the one that they collapsed, the one that they built well, to the partner that ran away with the money, with the to the loans that they couldn't pay, to everything, to the house that somebody came to resell it. All these are practical examples, and they can say them to you based on their own experiences. So when you have access to these things, they take your mind off the weakest, that a lot of the data that you hear around, because a lot of the teachings about business are coming from people who have never done it. They're just it's just academic exercise that they're doing. The ones that is coming from people who have done it, when you hear them, you never look at yourself saying that I want to quit. You will not quit, because you consider, then I've not missed the journey. It's just part of the process. It's just part of the process. And you see that all the efforts that you are making, they are accumulating. They are gathering momentum, and they will explode, and they will reward you. And so those who don't get the rewards are those who just quit. They give up. If you give up, then you will not get the results. But if you don't give up and you continue to upgrade, it's two things. Don't give up, but don't stay the same. You don't give up, you keep going. Don't stay where you are, don't stay the same. You don't give up, but you keep going. You keep bettering yourself, if there is an English word like that. You keep at becoming better. Focus on investing in yourself, in knowledge and understanding, in doing. In doing and doing more, and forget about what everybody else is saying. So far as you're focusing on building yourself and investing in yourself, in your thought, you cannot feed on all the information that they have given. It's weak. That's why when you meet an entrepreneur who says that it's difficult, I can't do it, it's because look at the source of information that he has. It's coming from people who have not done it. If you're doing it, no matter how little you're doing, no matter how little you're doing, the wisdom that you glean is so much heavy, and it's heavier than all the things that will come at you. And eventually the efforts, they will pay. Okay, so my name is Obinda Ako. I am talking about entrepreneurship. I'm saying that the efforts will bring results. And if you want to give up, don't give up at a point where you feel like you're at the weakest moment of your life. No, don't give up. If you listen to the friends, if you listen to the people, if you listen to the advice, the common advice that we hear about business, it's all, a lot of the advice that they have given in this life, not only in Africa, a lot of the places, they were not meant for people who were building business. They were meant for people who were looking for jobs. A lot of the advice, whether it's on marriage, whether it's on finance, whether it's on career building, a lot of the popular advice that you see around the world is not for entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs are just about 2%, of the world's population. The ones who are building, I'm not just talking about somebody who's doing something for revenue, somebody who has a business idea and wants to grow it into business, into a company. And who's looking at employing people, building beyond their expertise and building a whole structure, a whole network, a whole machine. Those kind of people, I'm saying that they are very few. And so if they are few, a lot of the noise that you're hearing are not coming from those guys. That one I can tell you. That's why when you build yourself with a lot of the noise, the 98% of the population and all the advice that you're giving, when you meet the challenges, which 98% of them are not meeting, you give up. You give up. So you don't feed yourself with those kind of people and the information that they're coming. Whether it's coming from the school, whether it's coming from the church, whether it's coming from the culture, they are not towards you as an entrepreneur. They are not for you. They are for everybody, but not you. So you can hear them, but they don't apply to you. You should know which advice applies to you if you're building a business. And a lot of it is not. Those that can apply to you are coming from those who have built it. Those who are in it, those who are doing it. Those are the people that you listen to. So anytime that you hear somebody who's saying that I am trying to quit, I'm trying to give up, I can't do it anymore, it's because they are listening to the 98%. The popular advice, it seems like it's intelligent, like the guy is at the radio station, the guy is at here, the guy is at here. No, if you're doing it, and you're doing it, and you look at the level that you started as an idea and you want to blow it into a company, you're looking at creating employment, that kind of position, don't look at taking advice from 98% of the people. They could be professors, they could be doctors, they could be all kind of people. Because a lot of people have not done it as you have done it. Especially if you have gone to the so-called school. All right? I'm not talking about like my sister says, she has a provision shop, she's selling something. She technically is an entrepreneur, but that's not the kind of. I'm talking of my sister picking that idea to say that, okay, I want to pick this provision shop into the kind that can become like ShopRite, or that can become like Merco. Then we can talk, because that way she's not just looking at tabletop shop, she has a vision that she wants to realize. So entrepreneurship is a vision realization. You have something in your mind that you want to create. There's a product that you want to make available. You can solve some problems in society, and you can monetize it. You can turn it into commerce. It's an idea. It's an idea that you're building, and you're going to build your ability to put a team together, to manage the finances, to build systems and structures, to become better as a leader of the business. Those kind of things. It's far beyond the person who's just selling provision shop provisions in a shop. Technically, they say that person is also an entrepreneur, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody with a business vision, and who has to become that person to explode that vision. Those kind of people are very few in this life. Okay, so I dare say that they are just about 2% of the world's population. And it means that 98% of the advice that you ever hear, they don't apply to you. As dangerous as that statement is, it's true. That's why when you talk, nobody can relate. They don't understand what you're saying. And when the things that get a lot of people's attention, they don't get your attention. When they see the car and they are so much into the car, they are so much enthusiastic about the car and the house, you can relate. You are thinking of the next idea. You're putting the numbers together. If somebody's looking at you and the things that people are very much passionate and call successful, you as an entrepreneur, you look at it and like, no. Because your mind cannot be the 98%. The moment you get the mind of the 98%, the pressure will kill you. You give up. So when you meet a friend who says I'm building a business but it's very tough, it's because his mind is still with the 98%. It's still an unemployed mindset or employed mindset. It's not an employer's mindset yet. You have to move from that to the employer's mindset, to an entrepreneur's mindset. When you get there, just 2% of the information can connect with you. Can connect with you. A lot of it is chaff. When you get there, you look at precision, you look at structures, you look at systems, you look at update, you look at technology, you look at becoming better at what you do. You're not hoping that things will change. You're building the capacity for things to change. You're building abilities for things to change. You don't leave that to chances. You think that Bill Gates is leaving a lot of things to chances? No, 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 no. He wants to work. He wants to put in the effort so that you get the results. You think that all these guys who are building all this network, these guys who are building, you think Dangote is leaving a lot of things to chances, hoping that things will change one day? No, no, no. He's building his capacity. And if he doesn't understand it, he wants to get understanding. If the manager is not performing, he wants to remove the manager and put another person there. You think that he's looking at just money for his stomach? No, he's trying to solve global issues. He's solving continental issues. This is the mindset of the entrepreneur. And if you're like that, you know that the efforts that you are putting in, they will bring results. Because it's a vision. And the more you put at it, the more you put into the vision will speak. The vision will produce results. If you don't feed the vision, it will not produce results. So you feed the vision like that. You think differently. If you think like everybody else, forget. The problem will crash you, because they deal with just what the problem. Most people's problem in this life is just about they didn't get their salary. A lot of people, that's all their problem. All their children are crying. You as an entrepreneur, your problem is not you are not waiting for salary, because nobody will pay you. Somebody can steal your money. The managers can quit anytime. The tax people can come, the insurance people can come. There will be product failure, system failure, all kind of things can fail. Those are the challenges that you are meeting as an entrepreneur. There are 1,001 in a minute. That's why you cannot think like the others. They have different infatuation, they have different troubles, they think differently, and you must also think differently. And so you cannot be a weakling as an entrepreneur. You cannot think like everybody else. So your mother may not understand you, your brothers may not understand you, sometimes even your wife may not understand you, your friends may not understand you, but you have to keep at that state, because if you move from that state, the pressure will kill you. The pressure will make you give up. The pressure, you will start to complain, you start to cry, you start to say that no, it doesn't worth it anymore. You give up, you lose focus. And all these guys who have built businesses, that's the point that they got, where they focus on the vision. And they never gave up. And that's why it got to a point the vision exploded. The idea exploded. The business started to make sense. They started to see. People started to call them. And it didn't happen in a month. It didn't happen in 2 months. It didn't happen in 3 months. Sometimes 5 years they were at it. Sometimes 10 years they were at it. Sometimes you go for financing. You have gone for 2 times. They said no. Don't stop. Go again. Until you get it, you don't quit. That's the entrepreneurship. That's all. If you build one business and it fails, build another one. Until you get what you want, you don't stop. So you don't stop when it is difficult. That's not it. You don't stop when everybody is running away. No. You don't stop when nothing is working. No. You only stop because you have results. This is the vision that you set for yourself, and you have the vision. That's why you stop. You don't stop because somebody else is saying that somebody is taking you to court, or somebody is fighting you, or somebody has taken the project, somebody has taken this, or some people have run away from the business. You don't stop at that point. You don't stop. If you stop, the results will not come. The results will not come. And most people don't know that. So for most employees, they go to job and somebody else is hustling them, they will stop. Say that you can't talk to me like that, they will give up. Because that's what they know. That's the advice that they know. If you're a business person, you cannot. If you're an entrepreneur, you cannot think like that. The fact that somebody is hustling does not mean stop. Because you want an idea, you want a result, you want a target that you want to hit. And if there's a target you want to hit, no matter what the obstructions are, you don't care. You want to hit the target. So you think differently. You create that atmosphere, you create that friendship, you create that psyche, you develop yourself, you continue to develop yourself, and you don't let the the difficulties get to your spirit, get to your attention. If they get to you, you're still not in the 2% yet. You are in the 98%. And so you're running with everybody's advice. And you cannot build a business that way. You cannot get the results that way. You cannot stay to get the results that way. You give up at the weakest moment. You run away and complain. And you be the one looking for magic, miracle. Don't look for those. Fight, create systems. Wisdom produces more results than any other thing. And wisdom is predictable. Systemic is capacity. So if you think like that, there's a lot that you can do. If you think the other way, where you're hoping, and when something is not working, you're looking for who to blame. You're looking for something to blame. If you think like that, you are not there yet. You are always looking for solution. Why it's not working? It's because maybe the system is not working. The structure is not working. Failure happens like that. So thank you very much for watching. And as an entrepreneur, don't give up. Work on yourself and create your force. And your effort will always pay off. So thank you.